This is Robin Hood to the rescue, and I'm going to restore this 1920s chair. Ah, that feels so good. I can't imagine how many people probably said that when they sat down in this chair. I can't imagine how many people sat down in this chair. 100 years old. So it started its life in the 1920s. So this chair came from Field Manor. Field Manor is an 1880s home site in Merritt Island, Florida. Field Manor the Fields were one of the pioneer families that moved to Merritt Island, Florida. So the interesting thing is that on chairs like this, repairs to me help with the aesthetics, and it gives it a story of what this chair was through. So there might be a chair like this in a museum or something like that that is pristine, and you know what happens? It sat in a corner and nobody was able to sit in it, and it's like, oh, don't sit in that, only if company comes. But this chair here, it was used by the family. You know, when electricity came to Field Manor, it first came in the form of a water wheel that drove a generator that then supplied power to the little town there. But when the first light was flipped on, this chair was in that house. And someone was sitting there saying, first light. And in 1933, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt started his fireside chats, don't you know someone was sitting in this chair every evening? In 1941, this chair was in the house. It was already 20 years old. I mean, by today's standard, we would have thrown this chair out 15 years ago. And so in 1941, during Pearl Harbor, I can just imagine some of the older people that had been through World War I just hearing that broadcast on the radio and just sitting down and slumping and just thinking, oh my gosh, what is going to happen now? So the sons of the Fields, the Field family, went to war in World War II. And they wrote back to the family and told them what it was like over in Europe. And so you can imagine that the mother and the father would be sitting in this chair at the table reading those letters, reading what's happening over in Europe during World War II. And that's why I think it's important to rescue some of the things that I rescue. I rescue because I think they have a history. It's like the clocks that I do, or the chairs that I do. It's because they have this history, and the environment isn't disposable. These things are great, they live on, and at some point they become even more valuable. Right now, you know, they're kind of a little bit valuable, but as the years go on, there's less and less of these guys, and in 100 years from now, this chair will be ooh, wow, look at that chair. Well, now let's go to the shop, and we're going to rewind and to see what happened a couple days ago when this chair just first came in, and all the repairs that we needed to do to it. So this is Robin Hood to the rescue again, and we're going to try to rescue this old chair. This is a pretty nice old chair. It already has some pretty rough repairs to it, but what we've got right now is a really bad break. That is a really bad break. And I was thinking about how to repair that, and I've come up with a maybe to try to save this leg. I mean, really, this leg, you should almost replace this leg because of that break. But we're going to try a non-standard repair that I've come up with to see if we could do it this way so we can keep this beautiful old leg. First thing I want to do is just glue this using epoxy. I mean, this needs to be an epoxy because there's some gaps in here, so we want to fill those gaps. There we go. We've bonded this. It looks really good. Now this is just bonding end grain. This would never hold. But what it does is it gives it in the right orientation that I can now take and put some stiffeners in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mill a slot, and then we're going to insert some wood into that slot. So this is actually a metal milling machine, and I've shown this kind of in high speed here. And this, you can see the cutout that the milling machine made. The splints, I want to cut out a Brazilian cherry. I have some extra up in the attic. Brazilian cherry is really strong, so it's even stronger than oak, and a good material to use for this. And the other thing is, it does kind of closely match a color, but I don't really care if it matches the color because I'm going to make this pretty. So if you can see that there's a repair here, you're going to go, man, that's a nice repair. That, and then I'm going to trim that off. So it's going to be thicker in the middle and it's going to be thinner at the ends on purpose, because that's where the strength needs to be, is right in the middle. See, and another one's right there. All right, so we've got the machining done. I've made the little wood pieces that are going to be glued in. So let's go ahead and glue them in. Gonna let that dry. So this is the leg after it's been repaired and all the popsicle sticks have been glued in. You can see it there. I mean, it looks really good. You can see it's raised right there where my thumb is, and raised again right there. It's raised in the center because that's where I wanted the strength to be. And I'm sure I'm going to be able to fix that leg, and now that I'm going to be able to fix that leg, we're just going to have to look at the rest of the chair. It's not unusual. All of the joints on this chair are loose. This is just one of the joints. See that? But they're all like that. I mean, and that just makes it so the chair leg gets more stress. Everything gets more stress. As you can see, you go up there, you can actually see that glue there. That's where someone tried to repair this by just adding a little glue there. That's never going to work. I mean, you got to take the chair apart. I mean, you can try. I mean, and I realize why you do that. But look, see how that is? That's never going to firm up unless you take that joint out. Then this damage is probably the most difficult, I think, for me to actually fix. It's really rough. It's been repaired twice. We have this monster thing on it. So I cut this off with a bandsaw. I'm just trying to get the base of wood for this. And you see there's big gaps in here, which is actually good. And actually, thank goodness, this was glued really badly. So there was a big blob. There's a big blob there and a big blob there. And then the whole thing got popped right off. So that saved this. This upper chair back is actually going to be a challenge to repair, but I got a pretty good thought on how to repair it also. A lot of times it just takes some unique ways to make these repairs. So this is broke off, but in addition, it's just was a piece of wood here that is broken off too. So this is actually supposed to be a mortise in here, a slot thing, and then the tendon from the chair back is supposed to fit up in there. So it's supposed to fit like that. But you can see that there's just almost no wood left there to hold it in. But I have a really nice thing to do this. So first of all, we know the shape. I know the shape of this piece, because I have at least enough pieces to show me the shape. So I've got them there outlined in paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a cut right across here. I'm going to cut this off so it's flat. So this, because I can't glue to that surface. And then I'm going to remanufacture this end, and I'm going to glue it onto here. So that'll be a fun, little challenging project. Isn't that pretty? Now I have something to glue to. This guy's starting to look really good here. So this is the new piece, shaped already. It's cut roughly to shape. I'll probably do a little bit more after it's glued, just to put it in. And see, this is actually oak. See, when you see the split, it's very similar. Then the other thing is look at this mortise. Look at that. Isn't that nice? So this part is glued up and clamped. We're just going to leave it. And when you get ready to disassemble a chair, you need to number all the nodes. The nodes are the intersection points. So that intersection point on this chair is number 2. The upper one is number 6. This chair has a lot of screws in it, and then the screws are covered up with a plug. So a lot of times what you can do, drill the center out, and sometimes the plug come out like this. This chair is now completely disassembled. When you look at it, you're just amazed always how many parts there are. So this is one of the last repairs I needed to make. This is the back of the chair, the back. And then this is the seat post. I'm going to just show you how it goes, just so you understand. So this is the back of the seat, how it comes in. The really uncomfortable part is sometimes you have to actually break it to fix it, and this is one of these cases. But the really only way to do this is I got to get glue into all of this, and you see it's already broke, so you actually just have to break it all the way off. And again, even this makes me like uncomfortable. But if you want to make it strong, you got to get it. You got to get that break fixed properly. There we go. Yeah, actually a nice easy glue up. I won't even show it on film. Wow, we get to assemble now. So I've got everything laid kind of so we can assemble it in order. All right, so I'm going to assemble and fast forward here just to give you an idea of the order of how things are put together. You want to do it in a particular order just so you can do it as quickly as you can. The other thing you'll see is that I'm using Titebond 3 glue. Any type of wood glue is fine. I don't use hide glue, the original glue used, because it's not as long lasting, and for this particular application I think that the more modern glue is the proper glue. Now it's important to get all the feet down, so see if it's doing all right. See, that's doing really good. And again, we're fast forwarding through the assembly of the arms onto the chair. So the chair is done. Came out really good. That I had to paint that black just because I couldn't get it to match. They're both oak, but the original chair is shellac with colored shellac in it, and I just couldn't get it to match. So this is Robin Hood to the rescue. I hope you enjoyed this project of restoring this 1920s chair. So I'm Mark Brewer from Merritt Island, Florida.